So now we're going to open up the box to the Microseven IP camera and find out what all comes inside. So the first thing I see is the camera itself. So it's relatively compact. We've got some wires here. Microseven, cool. Just bigger than my hand, you know, maybe the size of a grapefruit or something. Okay, the next thing I see looks like the Wi-Fi antenna. Alright, that'll be useful. It comes with some tools. Here's some screws for mounting, an Allen wrench, and some little mollies for also mounting these to the wall. Here's another box. Let's find out what's inside there. Okay, this looks like the power cord. So that'll be really useful. And here's the software for the camera. This one is actually only compatible for Windows, but there is a download available online for Mac users. And the last thing we'll find is contact information for Microseven. So now I'm going to show you how to install the Wi-Fi antenna in the camera. So here's our Wi-Fi antenna. And if we remove the plastic cap, it unveils the connection point. So go ahead and take the antenna and just screw it on. Once it's securely fashioned, you can move the antenna for optimal placement, and there you go. So getting to the top of the camera, you'll actually see a piece you can unscrew, and this is where you'll install your micro SD card. So the lid to this is actually really nice because there's a rubber O-ring which protects the inside of the camera from water. So the micro SD card that you'll install in the camera is the same sort of thing you might find in a cell phone. And actually this one I've taken out of my cell phone just to show you guys how to install it. So it's really simple. You just take the micro SD card and put it in the slot that you see there. And if you're having any trouble pressing it in, that just indicates that you probably put it in backwards. So let's go ahead and flip it around. And there we go. Click it right in and it's installed. So then you can go ahead and take the lid and screw it back on. And now we're ready to go. Alright, so now let's take a look at these cables we have here connected to the camera. And you'll notice that they actually fit really nicely into this groove when you're installing the camera. So we've got 3 of these kind of round adapters in one square. So 2 of these round adapters are white. One of them is for power. So let's take a look at that one first. And you might not be able to see it here, but it actually says the word power on it. And the other thing you can notice is that it looks a little bit different from the other connection point. So let's take our power cord, and all you do is go ahead and click them together, and there we go. You know, connect that to an outlet and we'll have power. The next thing we'll look at is the square adapter. So this is for a LAN or local area network, which you'd plug a Ethernet cable into, something like this. So you go ahead and click them together, and now those are connected. So one thing is, if you're using a PoE adapter or power over Ethernet, you actually do not need to use the power adapter, the black power adapter here. So that's unnecessary if you have the PoE. However, if you do not have the PoE, you will need to use the black power adapter. And the other 2 are for a microphone and speakers. So these are not necessary for use of the camera, but they are optional. And so if you have those, you know, just simply connect them and they'll be good to go. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is actually mounting the Microseven camera and adjusting the angle or the positioning of the camera. So for this, you'll need these little tools that are included. And so go ahead and pour those out. And you see that there are 3 of these mollies and 3 screws. So these will be used for mounting the camera at these 3 points on the base. So now for adjusting the angle of the camera, the first thing you'll notice is this little Allen wrench screw on the side, the same side as the antenna. So you can take the Allen wrench and go ahead and loosen that a little bit. And now you'll be able to rotate the camera, like so. So you can kind of change the angle that it's going at there. So let's go ahead and tighten that up again. And on the other side, the side that actually says Microseven, you'll see 2 Allen wrench screws right next to each other. So you'll want to loosen these if you want to change the positioning of the camera up or down. So let's go ahead and loosen both of those a little bit. And now we can change the angle that the camera points. So say you wanted to point at some angle like this, you can go ahead and tighten them up while it's pointed in such a direction, just so they're tight. And there you go. That'll be sturdy, like that. And then the last thing you'll notice is one more Allen wrench screw right next to the head of the camera on the side that says Microseven. And you know, generally you probably won't want to use this, but just in case you mount the camera on the wall and decide you want to change the positioning, you can loosen this one, and actually it serves the same function as the very first Allen wrench that I showed you. Just changes the angle that the head of the camera is positioned. So I'll go ahead and tighten that back up.